Welcome to the next session in our series where we're taking one of the Healthy Beauty Oasis members, Beth, and up-leveling everything that she is doing with regards to her personal style, beauty, inner and outer. And in this session, you're getting a peek into how I run a one-on-one product consultation with a client. We're going to look at all of the beauty products that she has, and she's photographed them. She's listed them out for me already. And based on our conversations that we've already had in the previous sessions, I have some really good ideas and notes already brimming in my head about where we're going to take this, then going to work into a makeup lesson for her that she can use in a variety of occasions and circumstances in her life. Let's get started. All right, Beth, in our last session, you met with me and Katherine Johnson, and we talked about your beauty muse, your adjectives for that, the people who inspire you, and we got into the words you're going to use for your style recipe that helps frame all of the qualities you most want to express from yourself and how you're going to put together your makeup, your closet, everything. The processes that we walked you through with Beauty Muse, which you already did inside the Healthy Beauty Oasis membership on your own, and then what Katherine helped you go through in terms of an exercise to find your style recipe. These were very intentional exercises to help you draw out words that most authentically resonated and lit you up in some way. And a lot of times with vague words where people say, oh, I want to be happy, I want to be joyful. That's not really what this is. It's actually fine-tuning what that feeling is when you say that word, and then finding your physical sort of representation that helps you get to that feeling place. And that's where I want to take you to in the makeup process. And that's how we're going to evaluate all your products.
Wonderful. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
I've never looked at anything like this from this area. And to tell you the truth, the first time I did the Beauty Muse exercise, I did it with hesitation because I wasn't really sure what I was going to find. And then I just completely looked at it from a different perspective, and I became more open and exploring. And wow, what it has opened is, I just love it. It's just really revealing.
That's wonderful. What did it reveal for you?
So I think I was just worried that I don't know what I thought I would see. But I think what it revealed is that I don't need to be stuck in any one thing. And that as my life ebbs and flows and I grow and I mature and I change, my beauty muse will change as well. And so will my style image. And it's great. It's okay to be accepting that we're going to have seasons in life, and that just means those things, and we need to embrace all of that. And when it's time to say goodbye to something, great. So that's why I got out of it.
Yeah, let it go with a lot of freedom that you are stepping into a new evolution of yourself. And that's the crux of getting unstuck from a rut that I hear people talk about so much, and you talked about yesterday, so we won't dive into it too much. But if you're stuck in a rut and you're feeling blah, there's something that's calling you forward. There's something that's asking you to come and play with it. And so that's what we're going to do. And yeah, pretty much every client that I have says, no one's ever asked me these questions. I've never thought about my beauty this way. We think of it in a very technical, fix it sort of way, but this just imbues it with so much inner beauty first and excitement and enthusiasm that's what gives that refreshed feeling before we even get to the techniques that will refresh everything on the outside.
Absolutely. This has just been amazing. So my Beauty Muse adjectives, a few of them are kindness, honesty, integrity, and loving. And I'll throw in joyful too. The Beauty Muse people, and it's not just any one thing for me, but it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So those people would be Sophia Loren, Julia Roberts, Princess Diana, and the crazy Janis Joplin.
The
can't.
fabulous wild child, Janice Joplin.
Yes. And after the conversation that we had with Catherine on the style, my style image, my style recipe are several things like uniqueness, beauty or beautiful, energy, energetic, and vibrant. And I feel like there might have been one other word, and I'm thinking of the word connection.
Ooh.
So those are the words that mean something to me in terms of the style image.
Yeah. So the first thing that I want to dive into is, what is it that you're looking to get out of your next level makeup routine? And so part of that was starting with the Beauty Muse and finding out what all these inspirations are. And I know from our conversation in the last session that there is this wanting to be sophisticated, and there is something also that has that little bit of wild energy to it. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. So we're gonna incorporate that as we talk about makeup. But first, how long realistically do you want to spend on your makeup day to day? Or are you even wearing makeup every day?
Oh, okay. So remember, I went through that cheat thing where I would just do, after my skincare, eyeliner and mascara.
Yes. And that's very common. And there are no wrong answers here. I am not judging you. I'm just asking you what you want.
For me personally, I am an empty nester and my time is all mine. So I love this phase of my life in that regard. And I can build into my time. If I want to take 15, 20 minutes to do a very fast makeup for daily wear, I can. If I want to do 30, I can. So I guess having options, I would say probably no more than 30 minutes. Let's be realistic, because I do have to get to work that morning.
Well, I think that's more than generous. A lot of people will say, can I spend 4 minutes? Can I spend 5 minutes? And I'm like, well, we might have to spend like 7. You know what I mean? Like, give me that little extra 3 minutes if you can. So we have plenty of time to work with then. And I also don't want it to take up so much of your life unless you're really enjoying the process. Like, I can do makeup on myself for an hour and a half if I have the time and I'm in the mood and I'm just, got jazz music playing. I'm in some other world. But most of the time, I want my quick tricks to get out the door.
That is what I would love. Yes. And then that last newsletter, the style shortcuts and the makeup shortcuts. So if there's some kind of morning routine that I can get, the brush of teeth, skincare, throw on some makeup, drink some coffee, 30 minutes, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. All right. Well, then let's make that our goal, because it's totally possible. I'm going to teach you the shortcuts. Let's look first at what you're doing with foundation, because I know that this has been a struggle for you. And I'm just going to say it in my words. You've had many years of trying to understand what was going on with your skin that led to it being reactive, dry, textured, all these sorts of things, and redder than the other skin on your body compared to your face. Is that correct?
It is correct.
Yeah. And so then it becomes challenging to find a foundation, as you've been experiencing, that works with the skin here, but it also works with all of the skin that we see in the other parts of the shoulders up area.
Right. My number one challenge, I think.
Yeah. And with the different formulations that are out there, and I specifically encourage people to use natural organic products whenever possible. You do have to get samples and tests, and you've been very diligent about that. So you've done a lot of this pre-work. And I think people get confused about understanding their undertone and all of this kind of thing. But samples are really the best way, because any foundation could change on your skin once it mixes with your existing color on your skin, once it oxidizes. So it could darken, especially if someone has very melanated skin. The oxidation process is even more obvious. So it's very important to get samples first before buying a foundation. And what I find a lot of times is that women will buy something that is either too pink, too yellow, too light for them. And they're afraid to choose something that's a little bit too dark. But over 40, I think you're better to err on the side of a little too dark than a little too light.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I've committed all the egregious crimes of wearing full-size makeups, as you saw, and I've had too light and too dark on my face in my pictures. I think too dark looks better. So yes, 100%.
It does. Yeah. And so the thing with your skin, because I've already seen pictures of it more up close than what a Zoom offers, is that we see here that you have like a certain color and texture of your neck and chest, and then it is darker and more red on your face. So I think what we're going to do when we try to find you a foundation color is we're going to, cut the difference between what's happening on your face here and what's happening on the rest of your skin here, and see if we can't get them more in balance. I have a much lighter approach to makeup in that if you really wanted your skin to all look one color and very monotone, which is a lot of what you see happening on the internet, you're going to end up with a very thick formula. And I think that that can be very uncomfortable. And I like to work with people's skin and let it come through as much as possible. That's my philosophy. It works for me and it works for a lot of my clients. So are you cool with heading in that direction?
Absolutely. The one thing I don't want to look like is a makeup billboard. Maybe if it's, a really special occasion, we're getting that glammed up, but for every day, or things like that, I think the more natural approach really suits me, which is why I'm here in the Healthy Beauty Oasis anyway, because
Yes.
it's in line with all of the goodness that you're bringing to the world.
Well, thank you. Okay, good. So your everyday makeup, that leads into my next question. You want it to look and feel natural on you. Now, so tell me, what does that mean in terms of your eye makeup, for example? Do you want to wear any eyeshadow? Do you want to wear one or two colors, but not go for like a full eye?
Right. Okay. So I think one or two shades would be okay. I probably don't have the time or the patience to experiment with a full-on big eye or that smoky eye and all of that. That might take a long time for me to really perfect. So we'll go with one or two shades.
Okay, so something easy. So what about your lips? Because I noticed in the pictures that I've already previewed that you have a lot of brighter, pinker lip color.
I love lipstick. I'm okay with whatever color you give me. I'm pretty sure I don't have the right colors on. There is one that I particularly like. It's a little darker, but I do like it, but I'm open.
And how have you been choosing your lip colors?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Probably just something where I think it might look good, and then there might be something on sale. Like one time I saw this really beautiful red, and it was supposed to be a cleaner red, and we all know that the commercial reds are icky, really toxic. I'm not sure I look good in bright red lipstick. So we had the lipstick soiree, and that was a lot of fun. But as I took all of these pictures, I had a hard time determining if I even look good in most of the colors that I own. And I thought, we're going to revisit this one.
We are. So what are you trying to achieve when you go for the brighter colors?
I don't know. At the time, I thought it would just seem like it was fun.
Yeah. And you wanted to wear fun on your lips.
Yeah, it just was fun.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, again, there's no wrong answer. I'm just trying to get to, you're not afraid of color on your lips. So that's awesome. Some people are, they really want to see color on their eyes. And a lot of folks have gotten the wrong impression because of what natural makeup that I do and I encourage people to do, is that I'm against color. And I am not against color. I'm against using any color with bad techniques. And so I'd rather you learn the right technique with a color that's a lot more forgiving before you jump to a color that is making a statement. And you've perhaps also made the statement with the application that it is maybe not as flattering as it could be. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I do. Absolutely.
Okay. So we're not going to take color away from you. I love color. And I think it's just an even extra more fun challenge that you are bedecked in purple, And yeah, because really and truly, this is part of the philosophy that if it feels authentic to you, great. If it's sending the message you want, great. And if we can make it look as flattering as possible, really bringing out your incredible crystal blue eyes and that gorgeous smile you have, then we have won. We have made you into that masterpiece. And it's something that you can do. So that's why I'm trying to get a handle on like how much time you want to be able to spend and what colors you're comfortable with, which is the next question. Are there any colors, whether it's for your eyes or your lips, that are just, please don't? No, I really,
Well, we won't do mauve.
We will not be doing mauve or mauve,
Oh,
however
no,
you
we
say
won't be
it.
doing that color. Obviously, we're not going to be doing black lipstick. Don't do
No,
that.
I mean, within a range of things that I would probably suggest to you.
I'm actually really okay. I'm just going to be a completely open because I'm very interested to see what transpires.
Yeah.
And I will say that this blouse was specially picked as part of my style image from our lesson yesterday because the depth of this color, I love it. And I thought, let me just bring this to the table and see what we can work with. Nothing will be today, but I thought as part of our lesson. So I do love this color.
No, that's perfect. And I'm so glad that you wore it because it is so much easier to imagine yourself and for me to imagine you, even though I've got a great imagination, when you're wearing something similar to what starts to feel authentic in that outward expression. And so one of the things that I want to, acknowledge is that because you have purple hair, the complementary color, the opposite color to purple on the color wheel is red. And you have a lot of red in your skin. So these are sort of bringing each other out in a way. Your purple is sort of adding to that red, but red is also great for blue eyes. Red, pink undertones really pop blue eyes. So I try to work with what somebody's already got to then maximize turning up the volume in such a way that we really start to see the features differently. And that said, with the purple hair, you have so much color here that we are going to have to add a bit more makeup in terms of intensity, both in your eye and your lip to balance it. Because otherwise, if you're just, and I know you're not wearing any makeup right now, and thank you for showing up like this, people will call you brave. And I agree with that in this culture, in this society, because apparently having, an unmade up face is some sort of act of bravery, which that's a whole other discussion, but here you are in your natural state. And what I can notice is that you have already dark brunette eyebrows in there, and you might have some silver mixed in as it happens with age. You already have a very visible lash line and color happening. Your lip is a very light pink. Naturally, it's on the lighter side, and everybody's got different lip undertones, it could be more purple, could be more brown. And yours is a very light pink, which is quite something. And then of course you have all your rosiness around your cheek. And your undertone of your skin, when I look at your neck and your chest, is more on the yellow side. It's warm. Yeah. And yet you have all these kind of cooler tones, which I think is helping you. Even if the purple is sort of popping that red, I think it's a really nice blend that I can see why you went that way. I can see energetically why even being attracted to that royalness of purple, it is that, it's also rock royalty, right? So I don't know if you play any instruments or you sing karaoke on the weekends or you're in a secret band, but.
All my kids got all the musical ability. They play, They sing. I'm not there. I'm just a supporter.
Beautiful. Anyways, yes. And so you can always call that forth. And that is part of it, is we're calling forth something. So let's dig into foundation swatches. All right. So pull out your foundation samples and let's have you start doing swipes down your jaw. And
Okay.
keep them in order because I can't see what's on your table.
Right. So we're going to start with the lower number and just work our way up. And there's,
yeah. And don't put it directly into the shadow that's right here. Put it right behind that because the shadow is going to interact in a way that we can't see it quite well. And you don't need to put on very much.
Right here?
Uh-huh. Yeah, you could go a little further forward. Sure. Why not?
I don't know if that's.
So that looks like a lot. You just put on probably 3 times the amount that you need for a stripe. Yes. So take it off with a clean finger.
I am going to go get your fiber cloth because now I'm out of.
Okay. So the back stripe is very yellow. The middle stripe is definitely closest. And the front stripe is too light.
So then I have this one, the F4.
Now it almost looks like you might not have on enough. What do you think? Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
So that's F4.
So to me, it looks like these are both really good contenders. The back stripe is definitely light. So I want to see what happens when you blend that in even more down towards your neck. I'm pretty convinced I know which is the right one.
Okay.
Is I want you to look in a mirror in the daylight that you have going on, not necessarily the ring light. Hold the mirror out from you about 2 feet and then turn your head slowly and look at those 2 stripes. And as you're looking at yourself, try to see yourself from your forehead to your collarbone. And then notice which one appears to be the most neutral in terms of that it could be part of your skin tone from high to low.
Okay. So I think F4 is the more matching color and the F3.5 is a little lighter. It might have a little pink in it.
Okay. And which one is the F?
Sure.
Which one is the F4?
F4 is the front, F3.5 is the back.
I agree. And I always have, yeah, yay!
That's all you. That is all you teaching me that.
And that's amazing because this is to empower you. But when you can start to recognize what looks really flattering on your face and what looks more natural, you get a different appreciation for color and makeup and how to use it than just, I guess I'll put this on.
Right.
So let's have you take some moisturizer or something and remove the foundation colors that are incorrect. And then rehydrate your skin, put a little bit more moisture on, and that way we can continue on because I don't want to leave your skin in a weird state. Now we're going to take a look at the eyeshadow tools that you sent me and the colors that you have. So I'm just going to quickly scan through, which it looks like you have a lot of great palettes. We're not going to need to have you buy anything new. That's for sure.
Okay, great.
There are colors in every palette that are not going to work. There's going to be things that you're never going to touch. But that's just the way palettes work. I mean, you kind of are getting a mixed box of chocolates, so to speak, and you might not like all the flavors.
Oh, I'm so glad you said it that way because that's exactly how I feel. A box of chocolate.
Yeah, it looks like you have your eyelash curler. So what is the item in the middle of this photo?
That is mascara, and that's the one that I'm wearing every day. I like it best. And I'm waiting for it to run out so I can get the one you recommended.
Okay. Yes. And then you have this liquid liner.
Is liquid eyeliner.
What color is it?
Black.
Oh,
it's the only one that they had.
Beth.
But I have a plum violet eye pencil.
Wonderful. Because we're going to just make you not use the liquid black liner.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, you're not a super fan.
Not a fan. It's really harsh looking. It's very hard to get right, especially if you have any skin that has a little bit of wrinkles. It's a pain in the bahootie.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got your sunscreen, what looks to be like concealer.
Concealer in that little tube, and then what is that little tricolor? I think those are a random shadow. That's
a random eyeshadow. Yes. And I know this palette very well. You've got a lot of eyeshadow. So Beth, you know what you're not going to buy any more of?
eyeshadow.
Yeah, no more eyeshadow for you. You have
No more.
all of the colors in the world.
I do. Okay. And then of course the sunblocks. So
yeah, I mean, you've got, look, you don't have all the colors in the world, but you
barely
have
touch them.
so many usable colors that there's no reason for you to need to buy anything new until you run out of something that you've been using up.
Yeah.
Okay, and then let's take a look. Oh, you also have this palette. So
Yes.
let's take a look at, let me see. So these are your blush colors.
I feel like I have a lighter pink and it must be at the office.
Well, you know what? It can stay at the office.
Okay, because I don't have it here.
Because I'm not a fan of pink blush for people that have a lot of pink in their skin. And then you also have purple hair. Yeah, so let's just like get rid of the pink blush entirely. Give that to a friend. Let's look at your tools here. You've got some great options for tools. And it looks like you have just about everything you could need.
Okay.
So I'm not super worried about that. The only thing that I don't see is a spoolie, and maybe it's in one of your other photos, but do you know what I mean by a spoolie?
Can you see that?
Yes, I can. And that is a spoolie. Very good. All right.
Okay. I don't have one. I might somewhere, but I can't lay my hands on one all by itself.
That's totally fine as long as you have one. We don't need multiples of things. We need just things that will work and do the job. Let's see what's in here. Oh, more blush.
Yeah, that one's really light.
And shimmery. And then you have a bronzer and a highlighter situation going on there.
I have a lighter bronzer somewhere, I think.
So one thing I'm going to tell you just in general is that we're not going to be putting anything with shimmer on your skin. So let me stop sharing this.
Okay.
We're not going to put anything with shimmer on your cheeks because of the texture of your skin. It's just going to create even more contrast and make it look more textured. So we want to keep things really creamy, really matte. The eyes are fine to add a little bit of extra sparkle, but some of those palettes, you know, they have to throw in something that's like your disco color, apparently. And so a lot of those more fun, glittery things are things you would reserve for the disco. We're not going to touch those for everyday makeup. It's just too much.
Yeah.
Because people still go to the disco. You know, I'm using all the hip words.
Oh yeah, well, I used to love to do that. I grew up in that era. I was probably too young to actually legitimately be in a disco.
Right, exactly. You know, and if you were a little bit younger than you are, you would associate it with raves. So somewhere in between there, I don't know what was happening. Was what I lived in. What are you using for brow color?
I don't actually play around with my brows, but the one that I have is probably not the right color.
If you could just drag it down the back of your hand so I can look at the color next to your face. The color actually does really well to match your existing brow color. So I think that that's something.
I've tried it a few times and it doesn't seem to overpower the natural color. So when I put it on, it doesn't look like I've just added something completely fake.
Good. So that's wonderful. Then we're going to keep that. See, look at you. You already did a great job.
Yay.
Yay. I want you to just pull your brows all the way straight up. It's going to be a little weird, but you know, I do weird things. There's a method to the madness.
With menopause, everything is fading.
Yes.
Except my red cheeks.
You lose hair where you want the hair, and then you gain hair where you didn't ever want hair.
Oh, we're not even going. Oh, we're going to fight that because the facial hair is hateful. I have enough. I could grow a beard. It's bad. It's bad.
Wouldn't it be something if you could just like pluck the little facial hairs out and just glue them right back under your eyebrows?
Yes.
That would work out really well, I think.
It would. It would. Totally.
All right. So come a little closer to the camera and then just turn side to side for me. Wonderful. Good. Wonderful. Okay. Yes. So what I see is when you brush your brows up, they look a little lighter, everything kind of lifts. So I would rather, if you're not going to do anything with your brows in terms of adding color, that you at least do that, because your hair is standing upward and we want your features to go into the face funnel direction that I talk about all the time, which is everything pulling up and out. So please just try to start doing that as just part of a normal thing, even if you're not putting makeup on. Now on the ends here, because I know I'm going to get questions about this, I don't necessarily want you to pull your brows up at the end. It could just be that you pull them up and then ever so slightly tuck the standing up parts down. So it's not that you're slicking them down. It's just that they're not looking like they're spiky straight up. From, yes, just on the, push that little hair down. There, perfect.
My eyebrows are a little funky.
Yes, well, eyebrows can be funky, especially if you're losing them and they're, they're not naturally matching situations, sisters, not twins over here. Are you open to just tweezing a little bit of them to get a different shape?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Okay. Have you ever done that?
So very little. I'm nervous about over plucking.
Yes.
There was a time where I think I got a little zealous here. And when that happened, they didn't really come back. So hair serum here often.
Yes.
So, and I haven't completely got through the eyebrows soiree 100%. That was
you mean you haven't gotten through the eyebrow section of the Oasis?
Technical, by the way, in Oasis. It's amazing. The expert that you brought on. So I need to make that a priority so I can learn how much.
So that will be helpful for you to go through that, especially before you try to shape your brows. Listen to it and then watch the parts that have the demonstration and the diagrams for sure. But one thing I'll tell you just about creating shape is I put full makeup on my brows in the shape I want my brows to look like when they're done. And then I know exactly which hair needs to go. Because when you pull a hair out at the root, let's say you see a hair down here, well, that hair has length and it lands somewhere in your brow. So if you don't want a bald spot in your brow, you've got to really pay attention to where does the hair land before you pull it out. So I'll take my tweezers, and actually I should just have some here, but I don't. So I'll take my tweezers and lift the hair up first that I think I want to pull and pull it away to see, is it going to leave a naked spot?
Brilliant.
If so, it doesn't get plucked.
Brilliant.
So this isn't about just going wild and taking off all the brows and now you're back in the 90s or the 70s. It's really about being very strategic about what is the ultimate shape that you're going for. And sometimes when people have very sparse brows, it's so scary because you don't want to take anything away. So that's why you add the color first in the places you want it. And then you can very selectively choose what needs to go just so it looks more groomed. And you might only end up plucking out 4 hairs. Okay. And that could be enough to make that big difference on your eye.
Okay, so when you say full makeup, what exactly does that mean?
You mean on the brow?
Well, on the brow. Are you literally putting foundation on your brow and painting?
Oh,
or
no, don't put foundation on your eyebrows. I mean, that's a technique if you want to help block them out. But no, I mean, and thank you for asking that question, because sometimes I say things and I don't realize people aren't totally on the same track as the wonder train that is in my brain. But so I just mean you have that brow pencil there, and where we would want you to fill in the brow to create shape, starting from the top and the arch and the tail, and fill it in. Do that before you pick up tweezers. And we'll talk about the shape, and you're going to watch the brow class inside the Oasis. And so then you're going to have an understanding of exactly what you're doing before you start pulling things away. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. So let's look at, I'm going to share the screen again. So let's look at your lip colors. I see we have the hot pink, magenta, red category represented here. And we have, gosh, a range. There's like a bright coral. There's a vampy, what am I calling that? There's a vampy raisin. There's more of a deeper rose, a berry, another mauvey rose, another hot pink. And then you get into this light icy purple and a deeper icy berry. And then
those are frosted and they're not my favorite. If you think frosted is okay, but
I am not a fan of frosted.
Not a fan of those.
Especially anything that looks like it was back from the late 90s, early 2000s, which is what those purples look like to me. Anything with this silver frost is not going to be super flattering. And you might look at that bronze and be like, but that is a more gold warm. That particular bronze is really hard to wear.
Yeah, they were almost headed for the trash at one point. So that's probably where they're going to go anyway now.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. And then it looks like you've got another berry. You've got just the light coral. That's the protective lip oil that I'm familiar with. So it's almost no color. Another hot pink magenta. Okay. And then
the raisin one was one of my favorites, believe it or not.
Wait, hold on one sec. Let me go through the rest of what you have here.
Oh, yes, those.
So you've got a couple more. You've got a hot pink, and then you've got just like that bright classic pink rose. So you've got a huge range in here to work with for sure.
Okay.
So let's talk about what you gravitate towards the most and why.
I don't know if it's because it's got like the bluish color in there. And
now here's a question for you. Do you like the color on the wand as much as you like it when it hits your lips?
I have, yes.
Okay.
I feel like it matched my skin tone. Maybe tone's not the right word. I feel like it just looked good on me.
Okay, I'll take that.
Not in terms of, you know, oh, this is a great hot pink, and I just kind of liked it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I really like the way it just looks. Oh, this color looks different on than it does in the tube. I'll say that.
Mouth. Oh yeah, so it does get quite a bit brighter. So you're really gravitating towards these bright pinks.
I don't know that I look good in browns, but maybe I've just never tried enough of them.
Did you have an expectation that I was going to make you put brown on your lips?
I'm not sure. And the peaches and corals, I think might look good. I don't know that anything super bright. I'm very undecided about super bright at this point.
Why is that?
I don't know. It just seems so loud. Like you're looking at my lips and not me.
Yes. And that is exactly what happens with bright colors. And it's not that people can't wear bright colors. It's just that what we talked about with Catherine as well is your lip color entering the room before you are. Yes. Does that become the statement and people are distracted watching your mouth move around?
And that's how I feel, right?
Right. And also let's go back to your beauty muses. So Sophia Loren, Julia Roberts, and even Janis Joplin, they're not wearing hot pink lipstick. Nope. And we're not trying to make you into a caricature of any of these people, but it does help us understand, in one way, these are really fun colors. You were attracted to them for a reason. Now we look at the other adjectives that you used. Can you see where you've been using your lip color to live into the other adjectives you chose? Think of some of those adjectives. Unique.
Energetic, vibrant. So those, yes, I can see that.
Yeah. And so we want you to be unique and energetic and vibrant, not necessarily your makeup in such a way that that's what becomes pulling the focus from you.
And I've definitely been feeling that when I put it on, it's not resonating with me. And it's just, just didn't want people to be too attracted to my lips moving around more than me. I think that's it. You know, I wanted to more identify with the authenticity of who I was and not necessarily my hot pink lips. And there might be a place and time at some point in the future for these, but not my everyday wear, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so that's great. So you're open to the idea of choosing a little bit different lip color that moves into the sophisticated category, but mixing in color as needed going forward.
Absolutely.
Delightful. I love your open mind.
This is fun.
So we're going to go through your lip liner. You don't have any lip liner except a red right now, yeah?
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to pick you something very neutral, very kind of in that peachy family, because then you can layer anything on top of it. Whereas if you have a red, there's no, you know, there's nothing but red. Right. And then in terms of your cheek color, I want to suggest something that's going to be creamy, since you tend to have dry, dehydrated skin, that's matte, so that it just looks like a nice color that's coming through, and it adds something, but not at all in the pink family. So we really want to keep you away from anything that is going to contribute to the pink that's already in your skin. We're going to work with that and use peach on top of it to have that blend together as a really nice color combination. And it's all going to come together. I'm really excited about this.
It's going to be amazing.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. Join us for the next video, which is a full makeup lesson. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so that you're notified whenever there's a new video.